Right, here we are back again for another week of cook-alongs, and today you're going to like this one. I'm going to show you how to make your own Big Mac. So it's obviously not going to be exactly the same as the McDonald's one, but it's pretty close. I'd say it's better. We know exactly what's going to go into it as well, which is always going to be good because there's probably loads of nasties in a McDonald's one. Sorry McDonald's, but it's true. But I'm going to show you how to make a banging burger that's going to resemble a Big Mac. So, right, get started. Most important thing to do in this, the actual cooking of the burger doesn't take very long. It's like a couple of minutes process. So preparation beforehand is the key. If you get everything prepared, then it's going to be really, really simple. So first things first, your bun. So you want a brioche bun. Now I made this myself and it's out the freezer. So it's not a normal Big Mac bun. It's got poppy seeds on the top rather than sesame seeds. My bad. For the purists out there, get yourself a sesame seed bun. I'm quite happy with this. And what we need to do is very carefully with a sharp knife, put the bun on its side, and you're going to cut thinly, sort of down towards the base of the bun to make the actual bottom layer. And because obviously Big Macs have two layers, we then very carefully need to slice a middle piece out as well. But make sure that you do it close enough to the centre that the cap doesn't end up being like a 2p piece on the top. So you don't want to slice it really, really close. So the top needs to be a lot thicker, twice the thickness really, of the middle bit, all right? So you've got top, middle and bottom of your bun done. Great. Second thing, onion. So probably didn't believe it, but there is onions in Big Mac. There are onions in Big Macs. Okay, they're just sliced really, really thinly, or really, really into small kind of cubes, actually, not thinly. So I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So I've sliced the onion from top to bottom, so through the root, okay, sideways. Now, slice the top off. Okay, the top is the bit without the root, yeah? And then we're going to just peel that back. Some of you have been following me for a while on these cook-alongs, will have seen this before. Peel it back, but leave the paper on, because then you've got something to hold on to, right? Now what we're going to do, I'm going to try and do this towards you, is very carefully, with the point of the knife, go straight down towards the base, but not all the way to the end of where the root is and where the paper is, and then just slice backwards. And then next to it, go again. You want to try and get this about 1 millimetre apart, okay? So you take your time, okay, because this will make a huge difference in how it tastes when it's, or the texture, sorry, of the burger. You don't want big chunks of onion in there. You want to have those, like in McDonald's, they have those famous little kind of tiny bits of onion. You don't hardly even notice. Okay, so you slice all the way along, so it kind of becomes like a fan, okay? But it's all still attached. See how this is all still attached, okay? And then all you need to do is very, very carefully slice sideways now. And you will see, I'm going to bring this up to you, on the side of the knife, that you get these tiny little bits of onion. Okay, so that's perfect to go in your burger. All right. Okay, so I'm just going to do the rest of that. That can go to one side. So slice there. Just take your time. Slice it along. I'll probably go a little bit faster than you, but I've been doing this for a long time. I can also look at you while I'm doing it because my fingers are all curled back. Okay, so it's impossible to slice your fingers. If you're cutting your fingers like this, you can chop your fingers. You use your knuckle, okay, as the guide. As long as you don't go above the knuckle with the blade, you just slide up and down the middle of the knife, you can chop, 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 chop. You don't even have to look. I much prefer to show you that in person, but just take your time. Do it with your family. Get mum or dad to watch. Make sure you don't chop your fingers off. All right, so onion is prepped. Good. Right, now there is a little bit of lettuce. Normally, again, I'm improvising. Normally it would be iceberg lettuce, okay? This is actually a gem lettuce. It doesn't really make that much difference. I quite like to have gem lettuce because it's got a bit more colour to it. So I'm just going to again, using the same method, so curling my fingers back, as you can see, very thinly slice some lettuce. Okay, you don't need loads, to be honest, so don't go chopping up a whole lettuce. This is a waste, right? Because you won't use it. This, you've got 500 grams of mince there. You should be able to make probably 3 Big Macs, I'd say, realistically. Or you can make 4 small ones. Depends on the size of your buns as well. Okay, so that's kind of what we're aiming for. Okay, so we've got some shredded lettuce there. Great stuff. Okay, now, next thing, Big Mac sauce, right? So that's kind of what makes the Big Mac. So my version of the Big Mac sauce is this. So we've got some standard mayonnaise in there. So there's probably about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. I'm going to take a gherkin. Okay. Now, believe it or not, there is gherkin in the Big Mac sauce too. Okay, so we're going to slice the gherkin into strips, thinly, taking your time. Okay, then go down, and basically you're looking to chop the gherkin up into tiny little squares, a bit like the onion. Okay, so I'm just going to slice those long ways like that. So it's all into sort of matchsticks now, like that. Okay. Then all you got to do is go across, and you can almost go backwards and forwards over these and get it into almost like a mush. Okay, this is going to like thicken your sauce. You don't really want chunks of gherkin because you're going to put a slice of gherkin in there anyway, because that is just standard in a Big Mac. So you can kind of get it chopped down. And if you want, you can even use the side of the knife to break it down a bit more. Okay, and just spend some time chopping up those bits of gherkin. Quite therapeutic actually. Probably doesn't do your knife any favours, probably going to blunt your knife doing this, but well, whatever. Okay, happy with that. So scrape all that up. That goes into the mayonnaise, along with around about a tablespoon of hot dog mustard. Ooh, always makes that noise. It wasn't me. Okay. And then we're going to go in with half a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Okay, that going in. Going half a teaspoon of ground pepper in. Okay, going to go in with half a teaspoon of sugar even. Sugar's just going to bring out the sweetness in this. Okay, so half a teaspoon of sugar. And then we're going to go in for a tiny little splash of pickle juice from the jar. Like, literally a splash, like that, because otherwise it's going to be too runny. Okay, and then you're just going to work all of those things together to create what is pretty close, I think you'll agree, to the Big Mac sauce. It's nice, it's quite runny, which is fine, because you don't want loads of it. Okay, that's looks pretty close, doesn't it? Yeah, same kind of colour, nice gloopy consistency, lovely. All right, so that is pretty much all the prep you need to do to get this going. So the next thing we need to do also is to toast the buns, okay? Because the buns are always toasted. You'll notice that in a Big Mac, right? So get your oven on, get your hob on, and you need to get your pan onto a fairly high heat, yeah? Okay, and basically all we're going to do, just in a dry pan, so there's nothing in, no oil or anything, just going to pop down our 3 slices. Oh, sorry, so you need to do, the top needs to go bottom down, the bottom needs to go top down, so you don't want to toast the underneath of the bun, just the bit that the food's going to go onto. And then obviously the middle bit needs to be toasted on both sides, so that's going to take twice as long as everything else. We're going to get these all ready and loaded so that when it comes to putting this together, it's going to be really simple. So I'm just going to toast those off, it won't take long, especially with this crazy hot frying pan. What I'm going to do, I always end up getting smoked out in here because I'm cooking in my dining room, not in my kitchen, because I can't film in there because I just can't. So I'm going to open the back door very quickly, just so that this whole house doesn't end up with smoke, because we're going to have some steam going as well. It's all going to be a bit crazy, right? So that's the kitchen door open. getting in preparation for this. So I'm going to turn this up a bit because it's not toasting yet. It will be getting mega hot in a second. It won't take long once it gets going. It's starting to see the steam or smoke coming off it. Now I'm going to show you a little trick today, which they don't necessarily do in McDonald's. We're toasting this bun to start with. We're actually going to steam it a little bit as well, which just makes incredible flavour because it kind of melts all the cheese and it makes the bun really soft, and it's just awesome. But first of all, we've got to get the toasting done. So that bun is very, very close to being done. All right. Okay, that one's done. That's the bottom, and the top I think is done. Top's done. I'm just going to turn this middle bit over, and whilst that goes, we're going to get this bottom loaded. Okay, so we're going to go in with a spoon of the sauce on there, maybe a little bit more. Just you want it to go to the edges and not be like oozing out. I'm going to go for a little bit of onion, so that smoke's really coming down, and then a little bit of lettuce. Okay, so that's there. That's that side of the bun toasted, so that's all good. I'm going to turn this off for a second because otherwise we're going to have smoke in here while I get the rest of this done. So bottom is done. Middle now needs exactly the same thing again. So we're going to go in again with the sauce on the base. We're going to go in with the onion there, and then we go with lettuce again for level 2. Level 3, we literally just go in for some good old ketchup, okay, and of course a slice of gherkin, which I almost forgot to prepare, or a couple of slices of gherkin if you like. I love gherkin, so I'm going to put a few on. That will just stick to the sauce. Put those in. This is extra to what you normally get in McDonald's, but whatever. Okay, so that's the 3 buns prepped, well 3 layers prepped. Just forgot my spatula, so I'm going to grab that, and then we're going to get on with cooking the actual meat. Okay, so right, get this heat back on then. So what we're going to do is something called smash burgers. Now these are quite popular at the moment, quite trendy, but it's a brilliant way of getting that patty nice and thin. Like on a McDonald's burger, you don't get big fat patties. You also get a lovely crust on the outside, which is where loads and loads of the flavour is going to come from. All right. So all you need to do for this is very, very simple. You need to get yourself some nice fatty mince. So if you're buying the stuff in for this, right, don't go for the 5% fat mince. Go for at least 20% fat. 25% fat. At the end of the day, it's a burger, right? Don't eat it all the time, but the fat is going to make sure that the patty is really juicy and delicious. It's also going to really help with the cooking process as well. So what we're going to do is take around about 100 grams or so, or a ball that's a bit bigger than a golf ball, a bit smaller than a tennis ball, kind of like that. Okay, a couple of balls of mince. Okay. So I'm going to, in the pan, nice and hot, so you can see the smoke is rising, or steam, probably is a bit of smoke in the pan, okay? And what we're going to do, got these balls of mince, and literally just going to pop those into the pan, okay? I'm going to hit them with a little bit of quite a good, generous pinch of salt, okay? And then we're going to take a saucepan and some greaseproof paper. Greaseproof paper is going to go on the top, and this is why they're called smash burgers, because you're going to smash them, both of them, down onto the pan. Now, it's going to get smoky, I warn you. You can kind of pat them down, pat them down, pat them down. Just leave them there, you leave the pan on it for a second. Get that crust to really kind of build up. Whilst that's happening, if you've got cheese slices, get them ready, because you're going to need them in a minute. Okay, so I've got cheese slices here. Let's get those at the ready. I've got big slices of Gouda. I don't really like the plastic cheese. I use it sometimes. but Guada's my favourite. So again, I'm improvising. It's not going to be an exact replica. You could use the normal plastic cheese and call it plastic cheese, like American cheese, and it will do a fantastic job. I like this stuff. Okay, you don't need to do this for very long at all. That smoke is a really good sign. If you're doing this in your kitchen, get your extractor on. Okay, right. So off with the paper. Right, those patties are looking awesome. So what we're going to do now is flip them over. See, they don't take long at all. Okay, so flip that patty. Flip the second patty. Okay. That's awesome. Right, season again. A bit more salt on this side. Okay, not too much. You put quite a bit on the first side. Okay, I'm going to just pat them down one more time. Help get that crust going. Alright, now, this is the really cool bit. So, get those patties like this. So, we're going to go with cheese. Okay, so you put a cheese slice directly onto one of the patties. Okay, then take your middle section. Okay, put that on top of the cheese and the patty. Okay, then get your spatula. Okay, that's going to go, put your second patty on top of there. And then move everything into the middle of the pan now. And then finally, we go for cheese again. Second layer of cheese. Okay, and the lid. Okay, put the lid on. Okay, now this is the real trick. I'm going to take a little bit of water and the saucepan. It's going to put water into the pan, create steam. Put the saucepan over the top. Stand away, otherwise you will burn yourself. You can stand well away from this now and just wait until you can see that all of that liquid, that water that you put into the pan has disappeared. Okay, that is just doing its thing. It's going to be smoking, well, it's going to be steaming the cheese, making the cheese melt, making that bun super, super tasty. Look how smoky it is in here, it's crazy. But if you do it in your kitchen, windows open, extractor on, you'll be absolutely fine. But trust me, this makes the best burger doing this way. And I've shown a few people every time they do the steam bun, smash burgers with a steam bun, they're blown away. I want to see you guys do it. I'd love it if you could send us pictures when you've made yours. Okay, this is probably about 30 seconds to a minute away from being ready. I'm going to grab a little plate to show you, or a little board. Cute little burger board here for you. Right, so I'm going to pop the base on here, waiting for the final results. So the water's all pretty much disappeared now. Going to have a little peek. Everything's melted. Oh my lord, that looks good. Alright, so all we need to do now is get your hand on the top and get your spatula underneath. Okay, and lift the whole burger off onto the base. Turn your thing off so it stops burning, and there we are. We have a homemade Big Mac. Look at that. Looks pretty good, huh? I don't know if you can see because of the lighting in here, but I cannot wait to get that in my mouth. So hope you've enjoyed it. Really want to see you guys do the same thing. Send us your pictures. Let us know what you think. Like and comment, all that jazz. Tell your friends to follow us. We're going to be doing this for the next, I don't know, we've got 35 weeks left of this yet. So make sure you subscribe. Hope you've enjoyed it. See you soon, guys.